Hi everybody, Cheryl and Lady coming to you from the Ladies Garden and Home. Happy New Year! Happy New Year, Lady! Yes! Happy New Year! So I've set a couple of resolutions for 2025 that I'd like to share with you. So I hope you join us. Happy 2025. If you are new to my channel, my name is Cheryl and Lady is my dog and supervisor in the garden. And I garden in Zone 7B in Southwest Connecticut in Fairfield County. And I'm very close to the beach, but I don't get to go there very often because I'm spending most of my time in the garden. And if you do follow me, you know that every January I like to set goals for the coming year. Last year's was pretty practical. I laid out a goal and then I laid out a strategy, and that was very helpful to me because it kind of gave me a roadmap to follow. And if you haven't seen that one, I'm going to link it below. But this year I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm in a little bit of a different mood. So what's the difference between a goal and a resolution? A goal to me is something that is practical. It is something that I am going to say I want to do one thing and I'm going to do it. Whereas a resolution, I think, is more self-help. Aren't quite maybe as concrete as a goal with a strategy. I guess it's more my hopes for the coming year. So these are not in any particular order, but my first resolution is I would like to have a better looking garden. Now that doesn't necessarily mean more flowers, because I had a ton of flowers, especially the calendula kind of took over some of my vegetable beds last year. And they were beautiful and practical because I use calendula as kind of a medicinal herb. But I'm talking more about things like the grow bags. I bought some really cheap grow bags. They were very utilitarian. I grew food in them, but they really looked bad. And I think that I'm going to either get better grow bags that don't flop over and, spill over. Or I'm going to start really looking around for some inexpensive pots and containers that might be a little bit more visually interesting. The overall look of the garden, keeping the weeds under control, maybe, being a little bit more mindful of where I place certain things, just so I can have a little bit more of an aesthetically pleasing garden, not just going for the productive all the time. So another resolution I have is I would like to have a garden of less difficult plants. There are some plants that I have tried over and over again and they didn't do well for me. I don't know if it's my climate, my area, me, I don't know. But artichokes, for example, I've tried them a number of times. I can't grow them. Hibiscus is another example. Maybe my growing season isn't long enough, although I have a pretty long growing season. So, things that I find that I have to baby a little too much or kind of worry about too much and just are frustrating, I think I'm going to just eliminate them, and I'm going to go for plants, especially vegetables, that I do very, very well with, or at least I have in the past. And also, if I try some new varieties or new types of vegetables this year, I'm gonna start really investigating what does well here in Southwest Connecticut, because and try to master those. For example, beets. I don't really have much luck with beets, but rather than getting frustrated with them, I realize that a lot of people in my area grow really nice beets. So maybe I just need to take the extra effort to learn better on how to grow them. So with that in mind, the other resolution is to kind of fill up my garden with things that I find easier to grow. I find it very easy to grow beans here and carrots. I find it easy to grow celery. A lot of people don't, but I do. I do very well with my tomatoes, my peppers, and my eggplants in the summer. However, that leads me to another resolution, which is I need to figure out a way to live in harmony with Fatty McFatbottom, my resident groundhog, who, I'll just quickly tell you this story. He's been a bane of my existence for a couple of years here. This year he was very voracious and just ate everything that was about to ripen on the vine, decimated a lot of my plants. Anyway, I was cursing him up and down and yelling at him through the window to get away from things until I overheard some neighbors talking, and they were talking about there's a groundhog in the neighborhood, we got to get rid of him. And the very next day, I saw a trap in my neighbor's backyard, and I started getting worried about him. And, you know, as annoying as Fatty is, I don't want to see any harm coming to him. I'm not saying that they were going to trap him to kill him. They were probably going to trap him to relocate him. But I got worried about him, and I didn't see him for about 5 or 6 days. And when I did see him again, he reappeared to eat a squash or something. I was actually relieved to see him. But so I need to live in harmony with him and the squirrels and the chipmunks and the birds and all these other things that kind of really just ate a lot of things that I didn't get any out of. I didn't get any eggplant at all. All of my baby eggplants were eaten. I didn't get any blueberries because even though I put a cloth over the blueberries, a cardinal and a bunch of birds got stuck inside the frost cloth on top of the blueberry bush, and then I had to rescue them. And then this cardinal said thank you while a blueberry was in his mouth. Yes, that actually happened. Anyway, I just have to protect my plants more to deter them from eating what I want to eat and provide them enough food that they can still eat and not starve to death. So another resolution I have this year is I'm not going to spend as much money in the garden as I normally do. I have in the past, when I was first setting up this garden, really invested in some things like my green stalk and my deck container. And of course, when you start seeds, you know, you start plants from seeds, you need to invest some in that. You need the trays, you need the lights, you need the heat mats and that kind of thing. And those are all good investments because they last. But I did spend on some plants, especially since I had some disasters in my seeds starting. So I had to replace, you know, with plants, and that's pricey. I also spent a lot on flowers, which I loved. I loved supporting my garden club, which I became an official member of this past year, which was very exciting. And, you know, that's always fun. But yeah, I have to not spend as much money, and I got very lazy about composting last year. I have 2 compost areas. One is a lazy pile, I call it, where I just kind of throw all of the garden debris on it. And then I have a bin, a rotating bin, that I put my kitchen scraps in. Well, so last year, the area behind the bin and in the lazy compost pile became infected with yellow jackets. And I refused to go near there until, like I said, the freeze, which has happened. But, you know, now it's freezing out. But anyway, so I ended up bringing in a lot of compost. And I also ended up not amending my soil as much as I should have. And, you know, compost, even just a layer or two in the fall on top of your garden beds, or even just in the hole when you're planting something, is they call it gardener's black gold for a reason, because it's just so helpful to the soil. So I think I'm going to have to get better at composting and maybe look for other natural ways, inexpensive ways to amend the soil, so that I'm not spending so much money. I mean, compost this past year, I don't know about you, but over here it was like $24, $25 a bag. And a bag goes, what, maybe on a half a bed? One bed if you're lucky. So I gotta figure that out and just concentrate on amending the soil, but also concentrate on not spending as much money. Also, I'm not going to spend as much money on seeds this year. I have a huge box like that of all kinds of flowers, vegetables, herbs, and I'm just going to go through there and use up what I have. Most seeds last a good number of years. Onions are the ones that you have to buy every year. They should be fresh. Yeah, I'm going to just maybe relax a little bit about going online and ordering everything that I see, as opposed to just being a little bit more prudent about what I buy. So I have some physical ailments that got really, really bad this year. My back and my knees. I've always had back problems. Never really had knee problems up until like maybe 2 years ago. They've gotten really, really bad, and it interfered quite a bit with what I could physically do in the garden. And I think that that kind of gave me the mindset of let's ease off and not go crazy doing all of this physical activity. For example, I didn't prune my tomatoes this year, and they were fine because we really had so little rain. I didn't have to worry about blight or mildew or any of that, but normally I would need to prune them. Weeding, another example. I think the reason that the calendula spread so much is because I didn't care for the weeding out of the seedlings where I didn't want them. So I just kind of let them grow. But this is how my physical ailments kind of hindered what I could have been doing in the garden better. So one of my resolutions, so in this vein, one of my resolutions is I'm going to see a doctor finally about these issues and see if there's something that can be done. Because I feel like not only did my garden not benefit from this, neither did me physically. I ended up gaining some weight. Usually in the summer, because I'm so active out there, I end up losing some weight and getting toned up, which didn't happen this year. So guess what another resolution is going to be. Anyway, yeah, lose weight. Even though I backed off on some of these tasks, I still had a pretty good growing season, and my garden did pretty well. So maybe all of that extra attention and energy that I was putting into, you know, the nitpicky care of the plants really didn't matter much. And it gave me a little bit more of an insight into, do I really need to have to do all of that? And maybe I could exercise other ways, like walking to the beach, which is right there. So my final resolution is I'm going to spend more time enjoying the garden than working in it. I lost this year my 2 cats that I had since they were kittens. They were both 18 years old. They were twins, Poochie and Fluffer. If you follow me, you know that it left a big hole in my heart. And my sweet little lady is getting older. She's slowing down. She's had so many health problems over the past couple of years that 2024 was actually a pretty good year health-wise for her. But she's either 17, 18, or 19 now. Lady, say hi. Lady, yoo-hoo. Yoo-hoo. Here we go. Say hi. And I want to spend as much time with her in our place as the garden. And we just like hanging out and listening to audio books and praying and, enjoying the sunshine. I think I'm going to spend some good quality time with my lady in the garden this year and just relax and enjoy it instead of always constantly having a project to do and get done. And I started getting into a bit of a rhythm of doing that in the fall, where I would bring a cup of coffee into the garden in the morning and just sip some coffee with Lady and start my day that way. Usually, that's not my gardening time. I usually garden when I finish work in the afternoon or evening. So anyway, I think I'm going to just relax and enjoy as much as I can. Of course, that should always be a goal, I guess, for everybody. Just relax and enjoy the year and have fun and have hope and, look for the brighter things to come. Anyway, those are my resolutions. I would love to hear yours. If you have a practical goal or if you have I would just love to have this as a resolution, put it in the comments below and let us all know what you've decided to do differently or better this year. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And I hope you subscribe and join our growing community. And from the Ladies Garden Home, Happy New Year. Bye! Happy New Year! Say Happy New Year, Lady. Lady says Happy New Year. Before the ball drops.